Welcome back to the Non-Believer Bible Club. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you've had a fantastic week. We go into the 10th week, the 10th episode of the Non-Believer Bible Club. Already 10. They grow up so fast. Reading the Bible this far, one of the things I'm figuring out is the Bible can be just as loud about the things that it does not say, the things that are left out. For today's intro, I'm going to talk a little bit about the death of Sarah, our first matriarch, also the first person to have specific funeral rites, as we saw in last week's episode. Genesis 23:9, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he hath, which is in the end of his field, for as much money as it is worth. He shall give it to me for a possession of a burying place amongst you. Abraham barters with some locals for a plot of land with a cave where he will bury Sarah. I missed this during last week's reading. As part of the bartering process, Ephron, the man who owns the land, tries to give the land metaphorically to Abraham so that he wouldn't own it, but that he would allow him to bury Sarah in it. And he twice refuses and tells Ephron he will pay for the land outright. Ephron names a price. Abraham immediately agrees. Baller move. But why does he have to pay for the land in the first place? Because he doesn't live there. Why is he burying Sarah somewhere where he doesn't live? Because they were separated. No, I don't mean they were divorced. They are separated geographically. But why are they not living in the same place? Bible scholars are split. Now, if you remember, Midrash are exegetical works written by ancient Jewish scholars, and on the subject of Sarah's death, there are a lot of interpretations. For instance, one says that Sarah was sent away to Hebron by Abraham so that she wouldn't find out about the binding of Isaac, the binding and almost sacrificing of Isaac. Not good for a mom. Another interprets that she did find out, and then that's when she moves, because she is so upset with her husband. Still another suggests that she was just trying to buy the cave of Machpelah from the Hittites and died before she was able to. But why should this matter? Why does it matter whether or not they were in the same place at the same time? Well, it doesn't have as much to do with where they ended up as why. Jewish scholars see the binding of Isaac to be the most important event at the end of Sarah's life. Again, there are many interpretations. One midrash says that Sarah is told by a passerby who somehow knows about the binding of Isaac, and he tells her this. And then she utters great cries and dies before he's able to tell her the ending. Oh no, but Abraham didn't kill your son. He was saved at the last minute. I should have started with that. Damn. Another one says that Satan does the same thing. He had previously tried to stop Abraham's hand from killing Isaac. And so, interestingly enough, this saves Isaac's life because Satan, just wanted to ruin the offering. But seeing that Abraham was willing to go through with it is also enough. So he's like, shit. So he goes down, tells Sarah, hey, your son is dead. And then she cries and dies. And there is yet another one that says, however she came into this knowledge, Sarah leaves to Hebron specifically because they are at Mount Moriah. So she wanders around after hearing this news and then tries to find Abraham and Isaac, eventually settling down at or around the Hebron area. Actually, this version still includes Satan because then he goes to Hebron and says, hey, I just wanted to let you know, actually, it Your son is fine. And then she dies anyway, but this time she dies of joy. Of course, any of these can be interpreted as an angel was there delivering the news, or maybe it was actually just an old man. But these are the different variations that we're dealing with. It was the medieval rabbi Rashi who said that the position of Sarah's death as being directly after the binding of Isaac specifically shows that that event is responsible for her death. So either way, with these variations in mind, what we have is the full scope of Sarah's life. And I couldn't help but think, what does it all mean? I'm not really sure. I think it has something to do with the way Sarah is kind of an instigator in Abraham's life. In Genesis 21:12, we have, "And God said unto Abraham, Let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman. In all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice. For in Isaac shall thy seed be called." So God tells Abraham specifically, Sarah is important. Listen to her. It's really interesting because after that, really, she doesn't say much. We don't get her perspective of the binding of Isaac, at least not in words. The rabbinic view of the Torah is that nothing written in the Torah is by accident. If the binding of Isaac occurs, and then the next thing is that Sarah dies, it's for a reason. The plot of the story is focused on Abraham. Maybe this is because he's the one with the most doubt, the most conflict. That's what he's thinking about as he's marching up the mountain to kill his son. He's very quiet. He's dealing with it. He's resolving himself. On the other hand, Sarah is silent. But this isn't the first time she's been silent. On 2 separate occasions, when she was being led away by pharaohs who wanted to have sex with her, she said nothing. She has complete faith that Abraham will come in and say, she is not my sister. Well, she is, but she's also my wife. And she's saved. She had faith, and she knew she would be. So, Abraham is successful, and he passes his test. Isaac becomes the son, the heir, the future patriarch that God promised. And she dies. Sarah knew. She didn't complain. She was there for her husband, and then she let him do what he needed to do. And it resulted in success. After all these years, finally. Of course, this is just an interpretation. This is my interpretation. But I've read this. I know how long both of them have been waiting for this moment. That moment comes, and Abraham is successful. Their journey together is successful. Because after this, there's no more strife. During our last reading, all Abraham has been doing is trying to set up his son with a girl. His story is over. Their story is over. But while Abraham tends to tying off the loose ends, paving the way for the next generation, Sarah gets to leave. Interesting. Speaking of the next generation, here's an excerpt from the Bereshit Rabbah, line 60. I think they're lines. I'm very new to midrashes. This recounts the end of the last reading from the previous episode. A touching moment where Rebekah is brought back into the tent of Sarah, and together Rebekah and Isaac become man and wife. I'm telling you, Abraham's definitely dying this episode. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't. Kind of bummed about it. I've been liking this time, but I mean, the way is paved, man. All signs point to... Well, anyway, Bereshit Rabbah. According to this, all the days that Sarah was alive, a cloud was tied to the entrance of her tent. When she died, the cloud stopped. And when Rebekah came, the cloud returned. All the days that Sarah was alive, the doors were open wide. When she died, the wideness stopped. It closed? It stopped. Stopped being wide. This is a tent, okay. And when Rebekah came, the wideness returned. Interesting psychosexual imagery there. And all the days that Sarah was alive, there was a blessing in her dough, And when Sarah died, that blessing ended. When Rebekah came, the blessing returned. All the days that Sarah was alive, there was a candle that would burn from Sabbath Eve to the next Sabbath Eve. And when she died, the candle stopped. And when Rebekah came, the week-long flame of the candle returned. I'll leave you with this. In Bereshit Rabbah 58, the sun rises and goes down, quoted from Ecclesiastes 1:5. Rabbi Abba Bar Kahana said, Kahana. Rabbi Abba Bar Kahana said, don't we know that the sun rises and goes down? Rather, when the Holy One of blessing causes the sun of a righteous person to set, he causes the sun of his fellow to shine forth. Sarah's sun has set, and Rebekah's is about to rise. Joineth me, my creepy, creeping things, as we continue with Genesis chapter 25. Then again, Abraham took a wife, and her name was... Wait, what? And her name was Keturah, and she bare him Zimran, and Jokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shua. Holy shit. He's moving right along. What will be the purpose of these? Because anytime Abraham has children, what we've seen is God makes them great. Even Ishmael, who got the shortest end of the stick, was like the best shortest end of a stick that there's ever been. Okay, yeah, let's keep going. And Shokshan begat Sheba and Dedan, and the sons of Dedan were Ashurim and Letushim and Leumim, and the sons of Midian, Ephah and Epher and Hanach and Abidah and Eldah. All these were the children of Keturah. Oh man, genealogies again. I missed this. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. But unto the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, oh my God, Abraham gave gifts and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived eastward unto the east country. They always make them go east. And these are the days of the years of Abraham's life, which he lived, 160 years. Then Abraham gave up the ghost, and died in a good old age, an old man, and full of years, and was gathered to his people. And his sons Isaac and Ishmael came back, buried him in the cave of Machpelah, in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar the Hittite, which is before Mamre, the field which Abraham purchased of the sons of Heth. There was Abraham buried, and Sarah his wife. Wow. This has been an interesting time in my life, and reading these has already given back a lot. It's very strange that we're at the end of Abraham's life now. I feel like I learned a lot from this, and a lot from him specifically. All right, let's continue. And it came to pass, after the death of Abraham, that God blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac dwelt by the well Lahairoi. Interesting, the well where Ishmael's mother called to God. Now, these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names, according to their generations. The firstborn. This is just cool. I like that we're getting back to, it's like we're getting back in the swing of things. It's just this really long chapter. But now, let's not forget, we're still just talking about people's lives. By their names, according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebajoth, and Kedar, and Abdeel. Oh, Adbeel. I like Adbeel better. And Mibsam, and Mishma, and Duma, and Massa, Hadar, and Tema, Jetur, Naphish, and Kedemah. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names, by their towns and by their castles. Castles, 12 princes according to their nations. And these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. And he gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people. Wow, they're all going. And they dwelt from Havilah unto Shur, that is before Egypt, as thou goest towards Assyria. And he died in the presence of all his brethren. So geographically, that makes sense, since he is said mythologically to have fathered the Arab people. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife. 40-year-old virgin! The daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian, of Padan Aram, the sister to Laban, the Syrian, Rebekah. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. Oh, Rebekah too. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. Nice. I like this kind of, it took Abraham a hell of a long time. It took Sarah a hell of a long time before God finally did it. Now it's like, he's stepping on the shoulders of giants here. Back in my day, God made me wait 90 years before he let us get pregnant. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. I'm an identical twin. This sounds like me and my brother. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. Oh my God, 2 nations again. And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. And the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over, like an hairy garment. Wow. And they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. I don't know why that's funny. And Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field. Ooh, and was faint. That's interesting, because if you remember, Cain also was a tiller of the earth. So I guess it says he came from the field like he was doing some work that day. But that's probably what he was doing. So in this way, Abel was the younger brother, and he was sort of, he died. I guess technically to be Seth is the younger brother that upstages the other shittier brother Cain. And then wasn't Abraham himself one of the younger brothers? He had some older brothers too. And now Jacob. And Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. Now I'm sure these ancient Jewish rabbis knew what the hell that meant. But I am just me. So, to the internet! Internet! Oh yeah! Okay, so the internet informs me that Edom is similar to the word for red. And funnily enough, one of the reasons why he wants that pottage, another word for stew, basically, another reason why he wants that stew is because it's red stew, and Esau is covered in red hair. So he is known for being red of hair. He likes things that are red. And so people just call him Red. I mean, he earned his nickname. Continuing. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be every one that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. Oh shit. These pages are very slim. So that's like a page ahead. That's like 4 episodes from now. And Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. For food? And Esau said, Behold, I'm at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Man, Jacob's a jerk. Chapter 26. And there was a famine in the land, beside the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. That's what I was thinking. And Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. Nice, his dad's buddy. And the Lord appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land, which I shall tell thee of. Sojourn into this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee, for unto thee, and unto thy seed, I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because that Abraham obeyed my voice, and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. I love this. Covenant Part 2. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar. And the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, Holy shit, she is my sister. For he feared to say, She is my wife, lest, said he, the men of the place should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon. And it came to pass, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out at a window, and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah his wife. And Abimelech called Isaac, and said, Behold, of a surety she is thy wife. And how saidst thou, She is my sister? And Isaac said unto him, Like father, like son, you got duped twice. Abimelech, come on, man. Because I said, Lest I die for her. And Abimelech said, What is this thou hast done unto us? One of the people might lightly have lien with thy wife, and thou shouldest have brought guiltiness upon us. I wonder if Abimelech is getting tired of being fooled by the same situation over and over again. And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, He that toucheth this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Then Isaac sowed in that land, and received in the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him. And the man waxed great, and went forward, and grew, until he became very great, like father, like son, for he had possession of flocks, and possession of herds, and great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him. For all the wells which his father's servants had digged in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistines had stopped them, and filled them with earth. And Abimelech said unto Isaac, Go from us, for thou art much mightier than we. And Isaac departed thence, and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar, and dwelt there. And Isaac digged again the wells of water, which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father. For the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and he called their names after the names by which his father had called them, Heliah. And Isaac's servants digged in the valley, and found there a well of springing water. And the herdsmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdmen, saying, The water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. Interesting. So according to other translations, when it says, the herdmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdmen, they strove against them. They quarreled with them, saying, This water is ours. But it looks like Isaac, instead of fighting back, calls the name of the well Esek, which is another word for fight or quarrel. And they digged another well. Yes, good. There's always another well. You can always dig another well. And strove for that also. And he called the name of it Sitnah. The meaning of Sitnah is enmity. So it's clear that Isaac is rich. And he's so prosperous that Abimelech is starting to get intimidated, so he tells him to leave. So he has means, he has men, surely, but he's choosing not to defend these wells, and he's just giving them away. But he's naming them contention, enmity. I wonder if this is going to be a theme for Isaac. I appreciate that, though, especially in these older times, someone who isn't prone to fighting. And he removed from thence, and digged another well, and for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Rehoboth. And he said, For now the Lord hath made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. The meaning of Rehoboth is broad places or room. God has made room for us. And he went up from thence to Beersheba. And the Lord appeared unto him the same night, and said, I am the God of Abraham, thy father. Fear not, for I am with thee, and will bless thee and multiply thy seed for my servant Abraham's sake. And he builded an altar there, and called upon the name of the Lord, and pitched his tent there. And there Isaac's servants digged a well. Then Abimelech went to him from Gerar, and Ahuzath, one of his friends, and Phichol's back, the chief captain of his army. And Isaac said unto them, Wherefore come ye to me, seeing ye hate me, and have sent me away from you? And they said, We saw certainly that the Lord was with thee, and we said, Let there be now an oath betwixt us, even betwixt us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee, that thou wilt do us no hurt, as we have not touched thee, and as we have done unto thee nothing but good, and have sent thee away in peace, thou art now the blessed of the Lord. And he made them a feast, and they did eat and drink, and they rose up betimes in the morning, and sware one to another, after a night of partying. And Isaac sent them away, and they departed from him in peace. There's been all this strife. This is a very satisfying read. Nothing is really happening. People are disagreeing, but conflicts are being avoided. They're making peaceful pacts. This is ideal for me. And it came to pass the same day that Isaac's servants came and told him concerning the well which they had digged, and said unto him, We have found water. And he called it Sheba. Therefore, the name of the city is Beersheba unto this day. This is very interesting, because Abraham had named the city Beersheba the well of the oath. Now he's made another well and another oath. It's good that because obviously things are changing, right? Like the wells had been filled up with earth, and then Isaac was able to make new wells and uncover the other wells. So that's interesting that while continuing to do good for the people around him and the place that he lives in, Isaac is also following directly, even literally, in his father's footsteps. And Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and Bashemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, which were a grief of mind unto Isaac and Rebekah. They're not down with Elon? Okay, that is the end of chapter 26. And I think that is going to be the end for our reading today. A lot of interesting things have been brought up. One, Abraham was like, I'm ready to die, but I'm going to have another wife and have another few kids first. Okay, no. Dead. Amazing. This is going to set up something in the future. I'm sure of it, but I'm not going to do any research. I'm kind of interested to see just where they go with it. So we'll leave that alone for now. Another thing, I thought it was really interesting how when Abraham died, Isaac and Ishmael came together to bury him. I think that's as good as peace in the Middle East, as far as I'm concerned. But seriously, on a serious note, it's kind of fascinating that we have this strife that we all know about that's gone on for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And in the Torah and in the Bible, there's this message of coming together, a message of reconciliation. This is an extremely old text. So to find this kind of message this far back, it seems encouraging somehow. I want to thank everyone for listening. Again, we are 10 episodes in. Let's get another 10 and another 10 and another 10. I'm going on this journey, and anyone who wants to stop in for a listen every now and then, I'm more than happy to share that journey with you. Thanks for listening to the Non-Believer Bible Club.